Hey, hey. See if we can get some folks, put some live. I have not gone live in forever, so we're gonna see how this works out tonight. Mm-mm. Hi, waiting for some folks to join. Let's see what we can get. Hi, Grace. Grace, it's been forever. How are you? What I love about social media is I get to catch up on everybody's life while I'm busy doing something and nothing. Hi. So who else do we have? Let's see. You on LinkedIn. See if we can wait for some more folks. I have not been live in a while, but I wanted to share some stuff and catch up. Really and truly, this is nothing super formal. I just wanted to see what everybody's up to. It feels like it's been forever. Hi, Leslie Nanton from Atlanta en route to DCA. Oh, Leslie, getting on that plane. Yes. All right. Well, safe travels, Leslie, for sure. Um, what else do we have? Let's see. Okay. So I'm always conscious of individuals' times. And so I'm just going to get started. I figure everyone will join us. If you haven't had the privilege of hearing my voice or seeing my face before, I'm Sana Rasul, Chief Girlfriend at HR Girlfriends. I haven't done a social media live in so long. I feel like I'm in my learning curve again, but I think I'm getting the hang of it. So it is Monday night, and it is 4:37 p.m. on the West Coast, where I now live. When I last did a live, I was more than likely on the East Coast, where I've lived all my life, and that's a part of what we're going to talk about tonight. Real quick. I've been in a lot of groups. I still stay connected to what's happening. My move started in November of 2020. I'm still obviously getting my feet wet and making things happen, but I wanted to catch up because I've been seeing so many people in HR making big moves, or at least trying to make big moves. Jobs, figuring out if they want to relocate, making childcare decisions, who's going to cook dinner because you're stressed out, you're back at the workplace. It's just all kinds of stuff, right? And technically the pandemic isn't even over. So I wanted to just check in. All right. Thank you, Leslie. Yes, I'm on the West Coast. And that's the part I'm going to tell you about in my live tonight. So I started, and everyone knows, I love doing interactive things with the community. One, it's beautiful and helpful for me because I'm still a part of the community, right? I'm still a consultant, I'm still active, and I want to make sure that I'm at my pinnacle. And so during the pandemic, I was like, you know what? I can't sit in this house any longer. Loved my home in Maryland, DC area, but I knew I needed to fulfill some of these dreams that I was sitting on. And it just so happened after George Floyd died that I had an opportunity to leave my full-time employer and jump into entrepreneurship both feet in. And I'm not going to talk about the entrepreneurship part. I'm definitely going to talk about, though, sort of the art of choosing, because you could have, I've always dreamed of being on the West Coast. I love the weather, I hate winter. And I've commiserated with a lot of HR folks who, like me, suffer with seasonal depression, where you sort of start feeling sad in the winter time. They call it winter blues. So I was done with all of that. But moving to the West Coast is a big deal. And then to get my chutzpah of those, right? To get my chutzpah in the middle of a pandemic, how dare I? But I did it. I was like, you know what? No time like the present. We weren't going anywhere, right? We were all sitting around doing a lot, right? It wasn't that we weren't doing anything. We were just doing a lot. So from my home, my living room, I made some choices. A couple of those choices were to relocate. So I'm currently sitting in San Diego. Let's see if I can get some palm tree action, guys. Let's see. So this is the view outside of my very urban city apartment. There's very little sun today, but when I made the decision to move, I went all in. I was like, I'm going to live in the city I want to live in. I'm going to live in the neighborhood I want to live in. I'm going to do the things that I want to do because I've been foregoing a lot, right? And I had this thing in my mind. I was like, I've been so busy grinding, growing my career, growing a business, and I've not traveled as much as I wanted to. So how about move to a domestic destination, right? Like, how about live in a place where it's always a vacation? Now, to be honest, that sounds sexy for a postcard. I do get up every day. I go to work. Um, I grind still, but it's different. I cannot tell you how this is the best decision I've ever made. And it's the best decision I've made on so many levels because even if it had been a failure or a flop or it finds itself out to be, I would still be saying the same thing like I did it, right? And so I'm loving where I'm at. I'm really excited to get immersed into the HR community here in San Diego and sort of stretch myself out into the LA community and beyond. Because HR is very different in California. Those of us who have had a taste of it or have heard, we know that that's the truth. And so I get to have new experiences around the career that I love. Thank you, Mamie. Congrats to me for moving you up. Definitely made the move. And then the other part is that we are, it's just like making the decision in itself was so huge. But then once I started, I had to keep going. I mean, my house in Maryland turned into a boutique. I didn't know I owned so much junk. And junk meaning it was just stuff I wasn't going to take with me. So paring down my life, I mean, I felt like I was on one of those HGTV shows, right? Where people are like, all right, so you're moving to this new destination. If it can't fit in the pod, it's not going with you. That was my mantra. And so getting that all together and making those moves. Um, and now I'm in a new part of my journey, right? Because a lot of people say, "Oh, I didn't know you were like working full time in HR Sanaa and running HR Girlfriends." The answer would be yes. I just built a system that worked. It took a lot of bumps and bruises to figure it out. And it wasn't really perfect, but it worked, right? And here I am full time. I didn't know what to do with myself the first couple of months. I did rest because, in HR, that pandemic had us all on pins and needles and ready to trade in our positions for Snicker bars. Like, I promise you, I would have traded in my full time role prior to when I did in August for an almond joy. Just give me an almond joy. I'd have been like, okay, let's pack it up because that's how crazy it was. But I don't have to tell you that. And so, Dawn, you're next. All right, Dawn, you got to tell everybody where you're moving so we can get some inspiration because I know I can't be the only one inspired to be making these really huge decisions. So, Dawn, tell us where you're moving in chat. But yeah, so here I am now growing my business. I've got different lines of business now. Still at the heart is HR Girlfriends and the membership, but now I get to sort of rebirth it and do something different and not very different, right? Just get to build upon what's already here. And I get to have a level of freedom that I'm not accustomed to, but I'm also living. I was not necessarily living when I was living in that fast paced East Coast life. I get up every day and I don't feel like I'm in a rat race. I didn't know what that felt like. Like, it's like I'm living this life every day now, and I feel kind of guilty about like taking my time walking to a store, taking my time walking out of a store, not feeling like I'm rushing for anything. Even when I'm late, it doesn't even feel the same. I mean, there's just so much beauty in making decisions. And so, which is one of the reasons why I chose to do this peer advisory group that I have implemented about a month or so ago. So, you may have seen some buzz around this peer advisory group, but being now a full time business owner living in San Diego, I was like, I want to do the things that I couldn't get to when I was busy on the East Coast. And so, one of those things is definitely um, mentorship and peer advisory. You know, how many times have I needed a mentor or you needed a mentor? And I get all these messages all the time, and you're sending messages and you're asking people, can you mentor me? And guess what? It just life, it just wasn't happening. So I thought there's got to be a better way, right? Than just that consistent old school model of one-on-one mentor to mentee. Let's see how it works. How long do we do it again? What do we do with our time together again? And so I am loving what I've done with the peer advisory, the HR career booster peer advisory. I'm going to drop that in the chat. And I want everybody to check it out. It is really built around your personal and professional development because everybody knows that's what we do here at HR Girlfriends. But what's absolutely critical is that I tried to choose content around our growth each month with this peer advisory that would lead us to the next best thing in our real lives and in our professional lives, right? Or our personal lives and our professional lives. The pandemic was real, right? We got to see who our employers were. I saw who my employer was loud and clear, which is why I'm no longer there, right? And I'm not ready to talk about why I'm not there, hint, hint. But the idea is that you could keep singing the same mantra, singing the same song, getting the same advice, but if you don't do something about it, you're going to be living the same life, right? And so I'm definitely like ready. Dawn says, I'm still praying on where leaving a 20-year career in March, no new job, but I'm sure it's time. So looking forward to my next adventure. Yes, Dawn. And what I love about HR and even HR now is that so much is opening up for us around remote. I've gotten so many more clients that don't care where I sit now. It used to be that you had to sit there, right? So the pandemic has opened up the world, the corporate America's eyes to not having to sit in a seat, although some companies are still kind of hell bent on seeing you. But what is possible? So, Dawn, I want you to ask yourself, what's possible for you, right? And considering that wherever you end up, that place should bring you joy. When I come to California, it always brings me joy. And now that I live here, I have even more joy. So I know that this is where I'm supposed to be. But, you know, speaking of the art of choosing, the HR peer advisory, we're meeting again on July 28th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. So if you're on the East Coast, it's at 1 p.m. And we're going to be talking about the art of choosing. And what I love about The Art of Choosing is it's a book by this woman named Sheena Iyengar. And we're not going through the whole book at all. Like, this isn't about reading as much as you can, books as much as you can. We're just going to talk about the art of choosing, right? And where she talks about every day we get up and we make choices, right? If whether it's, you know, do I take this route to work or this route to work? Or do I pick up this call now or do I not pick up this call now, right? Do I buy this thing or do I not? Do I stay? Do I go? We're always wrought with choices, right? And some of them are life altering and some of them are super mundane to the point where the choice isn't even clear to us. It's so wrapped into what we do every day, right? But if we get really clear today that our next choices, right, in the next few months, in the next year, could be pivotal for where we're headed and for our overall happiness. Oh my God, hands down. And so, how much control do you really have over what you choose, right? And I think sometimes we get stuck. Sometimes we're in situations where we think in certain circumstances we don't have choices, right? And that's the tricky part is that anywhere in your life where you feel like you don't have a choice, you need to be with us on July 28th. Right? If I don't care if it's the job, I don't care if it's your personal life, because the truth of the matter is if we're honest, the skills we learn and we utilize at work, we better be bringing those home, right? Conflict resolution, right? Effective communication. So I would love for you guys to join me on the 28th and let's talk about the art of choosing. In order for you to join me, you'll need to grab a 1 week free membership. I've dropped the link in the chat. I'll drop it again so that you can find it. But just grab your 1 week free membership. Make sure that you get in there. The book is 15 minutes or less of just either reading the footnotes or listening to it like a podcast. So there's no commitment. But I want you to join me. I'll be leading it. I'll be facilitating really because it's your peers that are going to be leading it. I think you'll be surprised who's going to be on those calls and those sessions, who'll be sharing their stories, who'll also be sharing their current dilemmas, right? So you'll get to hear real time colleagues across the country who are right where you are. Maybe it's a different boss, different company, different day, but very similar, and the inspiration that you can garner from each other is going to be phenomenal. So it's not going to be recorded. It's you have to be there. This peer advisory group is really designed for in real time peer mentoring advising. It's not complicated. There's no pre-requirements except to sign up and sign on. So I'm hoping you guys definitely join. Oh, Dawn, you're in DEI. Great. Well, listen, there are so many opportunities out here, Dawn, including while I'll give you another thing that happened to me, guys. I've never been DEI person in terms of my career, right? I think as HR practitioners, a lot of us, we're excited by diversity, equity, inclusion, especially when you're impacted, right? When you're in a group, right, that is impacted by that, minority, et cetera, underrepresented. But you couldn't have told me 8 months ago that I would be training and teaching diversity, equity, and inclusion to Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies across the country. You couldn't have told me that. But right now, that's what I'm doing, right? Like right now, I work with an organization, a global organization, and that's what I do. I get up all times of the day and night and morning, and I'm up teaching amazing organizations. Now, I haven't run across an HR girlfriend yet, so I've got to got to expand my client base. But it's great, right? Teaching them about unconscious bias and teaching them about the difference between culture fit versus culture add, right? And what we should be looking at as HR and whose responsibility is diversity, and not just theoretically whose responsibility is it, whose responsibility is it, right? It's everybody's. And how are we going to get this thing done? So I'm just ready for all of those conversations. Um, but I want to hear from you guys in chat. Like, what else are you up to? It's been a while. So I would imagine that there's a lot happening. There's a lot going on. Tell me, tell your girlfriends. Let's see what you guys are up to while I grab a quick link. Um, so yes, about my diversity journey. So when I tell you that manifestation is real, I started my HR career journey back in 2008 or nine from an education standpoint. And I thought I was going to be a trainer, facilitator. I thought that I was going to go into OD and be a trainer. And it didn't dawn on me that once I abandoned that and went into the generalist track that I'd ever go back. I didn't have any remorse, but to be in a position to be immersed in D&I, to be creating content for diversity, to be really grasping on concepts and teaching concepts and building strategies for organizations who have none. I mean, I'm living my own dream, like, right? Not a dream, not the dream, my own dream. So, and anybody, I like to be candid about the journey. It is not easy, but it is so worth it. So, I'm going to grab this real quick for you guys, and then we're going to check in and see what everybody's doing. Let's see. Let's see. So, I don't have many folks on the LinkedIn side, but I see Facebook is going. Going, going, going. All right. So I'm going to post again. So you're going to join the peer advisory here. the HR peer advisory group on July 28th. So invite your HR colleagues, tell them it is a must. Grab your 1 week membership. You can grab that now. It'll cover you. You can cancel at any time, but I think you'll find it so beneficial. Um, and that's pretty much it. So I see you folks are quiet. Oh man, maybe I should have given you more notice, right? Could have planned a really good share with me. But again, I just wanted to catch you guys up, tell you what was happening. So much is going on in the world of diversity. I'm trying to think of some new things that I've actually come across. Oh, I've had some disheartening things happen in my diversity journey as well. I recently had to have a conversation with someone about why it's not okay to ask specifically for white facilitators or specifically for Black facilitators of training. So organizations, they want to do better. They just have a long way to go. So if you are watching your organization have hiccups, don't be frustrated. Just stick in there, do your best, not at the expense of your mental health and your overall psyche, but it's one day at a time, right? We didn't get to this really crazy place overnight. And so I see companies wanting to do the right thing, but yet they're like fumbling all over the place. And so they just need guidance. And there's tons of free certifications out there for DE&I. Stay plugged in. You should be plugged in. If you are not perusing these online groups for HR folks, if you're not connected, you are missing out. So I really hope that you are doing that, that you'll join us. You can grab your membership for the peer advisory group by just going to our website. If you can't grab this link that I'm sharing, and go to events, and you'll see it for July 28th. Um, and I'm going to do this impromptu thing. So let's see. I leave. If anyone is interested in joining me, I'm going to drop the join link. I've just dropped a link for anyone to click and join me in here. Come say hello. While before I close out, I would love to see a face or two. You'll see it's a StreamYard link. If you want to come and jump in and join me, do that. Let's see what we got here. But yeah, there's a lot of jobs too, guys. There are so many jobs swirling around now, and I know everybody wants the remote work. I know. But if you cannot get a remote job, don't give it up, right? Don't worry, Mamie. You're going to get confirmation. You can log back in. You should be fine. Check your email in a little bit. Um, and so don't just abandon changing jobs and growing because you can't get remote, right? Now, I'm not saying defer your goals, right? But I am saying is that growth is not absent because there's no remote work for you. I've seen a lot of people sort of getting on that bandwagon about, if it's not remote work, although their job is absolutely suffocating them and not leaving. I think the idea is you do the next best thing for you now. Sometimes you just need a soft place to land. So if your soft place to land happens to not be a remote place to work, no biggie, because hopefully you're building a career where enough remote work is part of the deal and you can command it, right? It can be a part of your ask, right? Your request right up front, and it doesn't seem out of the box because you've earned it. Your resume speaks for itself. So that's something that was on my head today as I was looking at some groups, some folks looking for gigs. And if anybody's hiring, drop a link or tell us who's hiring in chat. Let us know so we can get that going. But it looks like we got a quiet group tonight, and I'm okay with that. No qualms at all. So I'm leaving you with this. Please be encouraged that whatever you're sitting on as your next move, get up off of it. Stop sitting on it. explore it, pick it up, touch it, feel it, right? Like turn it over, do those things, right? Stop sitting on it. And then come talk about the art of choosing so that we can help encourage you as your HR peers on July 28th to really figure out what the art of choosing really is. How do you make those choices, both personally and professionally? And how do we help you as a collective get to the next level? Right. And also make some new HR girlfriends. You never know. It might be your next boss in that group, it might be your next colleague in that group. So, talk to you guys really soon. Enjoy your night and signing off from Dago. Talk to you later.